Welcome back to Lady Arcader's Super Showcase 2023. I'm Zokubun, and if you're just joining us, maybe you don't know what Lady Arcaders is about. Lady Arcader's Super Showcase is an all-women's charity talent showcase event running from July 6th to July 9th, benefiting CARE. The Super Showcase features a bunch of talented women showing off the games they love, so tune in all weekend, tell your friends, and, of course, if you don't know what Lady Arcaders is, we are an inclusive, all-women's gaming collective that welcomes all women in gaming. That all isn't just for show. Whether you're a speedrunner, you're a developer, you're a casual fan, you like challenging yourself, completing achievements, maybe you just like crafting related to games, we welcome all of it. And in addition to our cozy private community, we run weekly showcases on our Twitch channel. So you know what? Go ahead, drop that follow. We'd love to see you around sometime. Again, I'm Zokubun, and we are on day 2 of our Lady Arcaders Super Showcase. And today with me, I have Christina O'Brien, the Talent and Organizational Development Manager from CARE, the charity we're benefiting. How are you today, Christina?
I am wonderful. How are you today?
I'm doing, well, you know what? I'm doing really excited, actually, to talk to you about CARE and this great cause that we are fundraising for.
I know. This is such an amazing event. You guys, I watched some of the stream last night and was just floored, and everyone's enthusiasm has just been amazing.
We're so excited to be raising funds for CARE because CARE is something that really speaks to like what we want to do as Lady Arcaders. But you know what? For anyone who hasn't heard of CARE, could you tell us a little about it and its mission?
Yeah, absolutely. So CARE actually started in 1945 with the creation of the CARE package. Most people have heard that term. You know, I'm going to send a CARE package. Well, that actually comes from us. CARE is a leading humanitarian organization that is set on fighting global poverty. But CARE places specific focus and special focus on working alongside women and girls and working to equip them with the proper resources to have the power to lift whole families and even communities out of poverty. As of 2022, CARE's been working in over 110 countries and reaching more than 170 million people through about 16,000 projects. Or, I'm sorry, 1,600 projects. So it's, yeah, that's what we do.
And that's amazing. I mean, obviously, it takes a long time to grow and have such global impact, but really, that's just I didn't know Care Package actually came from CARE.
But
For
it's
example.
so interesting how that term and that concept has grown over the years. You know, a lot of the original care packages and some of the I don't want to say bumps in the roads, but some of the miscommunications between what was being sent and what was being utilized really highlighted the need for what care does, which I know we're going to go further into, so I don't want to spoil too much.
Oh, no, I'm so excited to get to that as well, honestly. But let's get a little into you and what you do at CARE, actually. I introduced
Yeah.
you as the Talent and Organizational Development Manager. What does that entail?
So I work specifically in CARE's People and Culture Department. We are very cognizant of it being our People and Culture Department rather than the traditional just human resources department, because we're so much more than that. The work of each and every one of our employees, our interns, our volunteers at CARE is doing so much to impact the lives of those that we're helping that it becomes my department's area to help support and impact the lives of the people who are working for us. Specifically, I get to build out a lot of really amazing programs around career development, leadership, learning opportunities, and everything to help those individuals within CARE build lifelong careers that just help develop and grow these programs that we're creating. So it's a really fun kind of place. I get to support the people who are making these active differences in the world every day.
And I feel like you just answered my next question, which was going to be what led you to your current position at CARE? But first, I just really want to say, yeah, I can see why that would really attract you to this, to help the people who are making a change in the world. That's
Absolutely. I mean,
amazing.
and that was it for me. I've been, I've worked outside of nonprofit and for profit organizations for much of my life professionally. And really during the pandemic, I saw that need and I really had that fire lit in me about wanting to help and change things for the better. There was a lot of just anger and frustration and confusion and hurt happening. And I was like, there's so much more I want to be doing. And so that kind of led me down uh, seeking out my next career step leading into a nonprofit. I got to interview with CARE and the team that I'm currently working with. I got to do my interviews with them. I could see their passion for their work, getting to speak with them. And that sold it for me. I got to speak to our VP in People and Culture, Melissa Heggie, and she just she resonated. You could tell that she meant every word she said, and she really was passionate about the causes. And so I knew then and there I wanted to be on this team. I wanted to be part of the CARE story.
It's it's always great to be working with people who really love what they do, but especially when it's something that you believe in, like everything that CARE does, honestly. I'm actually kind of envious listening to you.
I mean, and not many. I will say I've never had another position where I've gotten to spend part of my working day getting to be online with other gamers and playing games and getting to talk about some of the other fun stuff that I personally love as just a geek. So this is great.
Oh, we are so excited to have you with us and on here. Um, so I'd like to get back a little into CARE and what they do. Um, you mentioned that CARE has a ton of projects all over the world, in over 110 countries, reaching over 170 million people. Are there any that like we can bring up to give an idea? We've raised this is the start of day two, of course. We've raised over $500 at this point, and
Oh.
we're so excited to be raising more. But what kind of projects would these funds be going to help support?
Oh, great question. I love that. And yes, first of all, let me say I'm so impressed. You guys have already reached 20% of your goal in one day. That's incredible. Um, and like I said, we have about 1,600 different projects that vary based off of the country that they're in, the community that they're working for. But one in particular that I loved learning about with CARE myself was the Village Savings and Loan Association program that is rolled out within various communities globally. And so what this program does is it is a self-managed program within groups of about like 15 or 25 individuals within specific communities. And they meet together regularly and work to save their money in a safe space and access those small loans and work to obtain emergency insurance. Things that someone like you or I might take advantage of given the circumstances of where we live and our cultures that we have. So it seems so small, but it can mean everything to someone. Um, One story in particular that really sticks out is and you can read about it online more is the five chickens to a thriving farm. So this wonderful human being in Rwanda had spent so much of her life supporting her family and her spouse in their endeavors and in their professional goals, but not getting to work towards any of their own. And she had come and she had said, my dream is to own five chickens. And through utilization of the VSLA program, she was able to get that loan to be able to purchase those chickens, which then produced eggs, which was able to be sold, paid off the loan, was then able to obtain additional chickens. That grew into a profit where she was able to obtain a plot of land, and then that was able to expand into a full farm, which just completely changed her life. It gave her so much more personal satisfaction, opportunities in the community, and all of that just started with that small community driven program where we were able to help assist and support and get that ball rolling. Programs like this really show in our communities that we work within the drive they have. There is no shortage of desire out there for these programs. It's just the tools. And sometimes it's just popping in and saying, well, here, let us help you with some tool sets. And it just grows and compounds in ways that you can't even begin to imagine until you see it firsthand.
That's amazing. I think it really underscores that what one, there's a lot of things we might take for granted. And what CARE does is um, it doesn't just go out and give people a fish, as the tale goes. It gives them the resource. What CARE does is works to help give them the resources they need to thrive and grow and build on their own, build themselves. And that, I think, is the amazing thing about CARE. It makes it sustainable. It keeps it going.
That's absolutely right. It's key to the work we do. Rather than, you'll see a lot of charity organizations just go in and try to implement solutions that they think are best without actually observing the needs or listening to the needs of the communities. And CARE is very, very adamant and very focused on listening and observing first, because the people who are going to know what is best for them are going to be those individuals in those communities.
I mean, obviously, that's something I think we all need to hear a little more of. Listen to what people need and work to meet that instead of just deciding on your own in this society. Speaking of listening to what people need, you mentioned From Five Chickens to a Thriving Farm is a story that people can look up. The CARE website also has a number of stories on the projects, the work they do, the impact it has, and also it gives voice to some of these people. At you can go find those actually at their website. That's www.care.org, care.org. Just like the word. Do you happen to have a few favorites that you'd like to maybe point our audience to get started on reading?
I absolutely would. So I will tell you right now, you can spend hours on the CARE website reading all of these amazing resources. Highly suggest you check it out, because what you're getting here is just a brief kind of summary of some of the things. But talking specifically kind of about listening to the needs, there's one story out there called The Power of Listening. And it talks about in Bangladesh, a refugee camp during the COVID-19 pandemic. And organizations were going in and they were trying to identify, why what people needed to be able to leave their houses during COVID-19. And everybody was just assuming, it's going to be vaccines, it's going to be food, it's going to be washing your hands. But what CARE found after actually meeting with the communities and talking with the individuals was that there was actually a belief amongst the men in the community that the pandemic was caused by women having more freedoms. And so they were keeping women of the community locked inside because they felt like that was the actual cause of the pandemic. So looking at that as the source to them of the issue is makes you have to reevaluate how you're going to approach the solution. You can provide vaccines and soap and food until the cows come home, but if they think that this one thing is causing the problem, well, none of those are addressing that. So it led to CARE working with the women in that community and educating the tribal leaders of the community and the men of the community to understand the actual causes of COVID-19 and the science behind it, so that we could work through education to change that mindset and help redirect their focus on actual tangible solutions, that weren't based in this incorrect mindset. So it really highlights how, I mean, that's not a concept I would have thought myself. I would never have been like, oh, this is caused just because women are getting more freedoms, and it's a little shocking to someone like me to kind of hear that. But that's the reality that a lot of people globally face. And so being able to take the time instead of just diving headfirst into what I might think is best, listening and taking that opportunity to evaluate before putting a game plan in action. This story highlights that and how CARE really makes that work.
And I mean, that's definitely not something I would have come up with. Like for us, that was a bit of a shocker actually to
Yeah.
hear this is what they thought that the cause was. Um, but that I think is actually a great follow-up into what I wanted to ask. Like obviously uh, the needs are different for different communities around the world, the beliefs, how they tackle things, and it's not just about here's what we do, it works for us, so we're going to give it to you. Um, what other challenges does CARE face in its mission? Obviously, CARE is working to fight poverty, um, bring relief to disaster-struck regions, and of course, to champion the rights of girls and women around the world. And I think with the story you just mentioned, all three of those are in play. But there's definitely got to be a lot of challenges in working to get those done.
Absolutely. I mean, and it really does get summed up in saying that the work that we do with CARE, it is different and it looks different in different places. And that actually can make it really difficult to communicate and spread word about what CARE does, because you can't just summarize it in a sentence or two. It's everything is different. All of our country offices, their focus is going to be built around those specific needs. We might have an area where our focus is empowering women and educating them on to becoming farmers, like we spoke about. In another area, it might be more focused about wage disparities and advocating for fair wages within those communities. It's going to depend if a community is in a more dangerous war zone or has been hit recently by a natural disaster, where resources are going to be the focus of that work right there. So that's the challenge, is understanding, because there's not a right or wrong answer. It's varying, and it takes it takes a lot of desire to want to learn about that and want to become a part of that, because you never stop learning. And I find that sometimes, psychologically speaking, that can be really intimidating to people, to feel like they don't know everything, and it's okay. And CARE makes that kind of okay, because we're all going to work together to find those solutions.
Yeah, I love that CARE takes the approach of we don't already know the solution, but we'll learn together with you on that. That's really the a collaborative spirit that I think makes what CARE does work so well.
Yeah.
Uh, um, I wanted to bring a special attention to something I read on the CARE website, actually. Um, CARE has a project called the Tipping Point Initiative. And the Tipping Point Initiative addresses something very important that I think a lot of people, usually in the Western world, don't think about. Uh, could you talk a little about the Tipping Point Initiative specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those who don't know, the Tipping Point Initiative is a multi country initiative addressing child marriage by focusing really on its root causes. So, CARE as an organization, we see child marriage as an act of violence. So, through this program, our goal is to enable girls to assert their rights and to help families and communities support them in that assertion of their rights and to allow us in to work into positions to help influence policy to sustain that change long term. So the tipping point was actually started in 2013. It's a three-phased project that's worked in with groups of girls, but also boys and their parents to raise awareness and then promote that gender equitable norms. I love that we're talking about this with this stream right now because it's actually we've been utilizing gaming as a platform as part of this project to help push these initiatives forward. Um, it's important to note that it's been working to change the gender norms because of consequences that often, you know, aren't necessarily seen right up front, and some of which can be much more dire. And by the time that we're seeing them, it's too late. Um, Utilizing gaming specifically, since that's what we're here and we're doing, we have found that it is a tool that really helps promote girls gaining psychosocial skills. It's really a way to help influence and educate them on the knowledge of their rights, on social capital, and it really builds their increase. On the other side of that, it helps boys understand these issues at a much more relatable level, and it helps grow them into being better brothers to their sisters, and to start critically thinking critically about their place in the family, and start working towards that equal and equitable relationships within the home. It allows parents to demonstrate a greater commitment to their daughter's education and defend their daughter's rights to be these active citizens in the organizations. So it's and that's just one small piece. I mean, but it's utilizing something that we don't think about in that way. We just, we hop on, we play games, we have a good time doing it, but utilizing that as a tool can be so influential, especially when working with children, because it's a fun way to build learning, and that's always going to kind of stick around a little longer for them.
As someone who really likes to gamify things like exercise and learning, absolutely, and that was part of what fascinated me reading the article on Care, actually, about how gaming is used in projects like the Tipping Point Initiative to normalize women and girls in what is normally considered men's spaces. And
Absolutely.
it also brings them all into the conversation. Men are just as important. Other genders are just as important in uplifting women and other marginalized voices.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Allyship is, in my opinion, one of the number one tools for all of these issues. If they don't directly affect you, being a vocal and supportive ally can be life changing to someone where they do directly affect them. Um, you hear it said a lot that silence can be just as bad as hurting someone directly, and we want to make sure through these programs that we are not only educating these girls that are being directly impacted, but the entire community, so that they know how they can support them, and how their voices and their actions can influence in ways that they never thought of.
And that is just some of the amazing reasons that really drew us to Care as a cause. And the work that Care does is amazing to all of us. on the subject of gaming and how
Yeah.
we are a community of women who loves games, um, we've actually learned that you are no small fan of games yourself. And
I love them.
I mean the cat ear headbands. I love it. We'd love to hear a little bit about your background with games. Maybe a favorite game of yours or the role that gaming has played in your life.
Absolutely, I love it. So I have been a geek my whole life, but I've been an avid cosplayer and gamer since like 2010. I was able to finally be like, oh, this is my tribe. I found my people. And gaming for me is more than just what we're gonna do today, console gaming. But my household is a board gaming household. I met my partner through LARP, which is live action role playing. And so gaming for me is just every kind of realm that there is. Um, I love it. I When it comes to console and PC gaming, I call myself a very casual gamer. Because I'm very story driven. For me, games have to have plot. They have to have story, because I always want to work to get to the next part. So like my partner, we joke all the time. He loves open world crafters, and I'm like, yeah, but what are you supposed to do next? And that's why I picked the game that I'm going to play today, because not only is it a great story, because I love its kind of dive into Greek mythology, but it's got the intrigue of getting to kind of run around and button mash a little bit, and it's very ADHD friendly, and I'm ADHD,
Yes.
so
Oh
so
yes.
it is great.
And I'm actually really excited. So, uh, we just alluded to it. We're so very lucky to actually have Christina, as we are a community of video games loving women who love to show off the games that they love. We are so very lucky to have Christina here show off some casual playthrough of Hades. And we'll be right back with that, so please stick around. But Lady Arcader's Super Showcase 2023 has a full day of amazing games on our day 2 schedule. So grab a quick drink, grab a snack, get a stretch in. We'll be right back with some great gaming. All right, and once again, welcome back to Lady Arcader's Super Showcase 2023, Day 2. Again, we are benefiting CARE this event, and we just had a fantastic interview with Christina O'Brien of CARE, and we're so lucky. We're going to get a bit of casual gameplay from her, showing off that beloved game, Hades. While we are getting that set up, I'd like to remind you all that, hey, we've got incentives open for today. Coming up on the schedule, actually, while I was doing that interview with Christina, we actually got a $5 anonymous donation. No comment, but thank you so much for your generosity. You just heard the great things that your donation is going to help fund. And that actually put us right over to hit the Kirby's Dream Land upgrade to extra mode incentive. So thank you. Thanks to that, we are going to have a harder than normal, because originally Kirby's Dream Land was beat the game normal mode, but now Dark Soul will be having to play that in extra mode, which features harder enemies, different enemy patterns, so that's different muscle memory, harder bosses, and of course, she's gonna do it all in the same time. How amazing is that? And of course, we also do actually have a poll open, a bid war open right now for Alba coming up later today. I mentioned we had a bunch of amazing games on the block. Alba, a wildlife adventure, is coming up later today at around 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m. And that'll feature Happy Bear running through Alba, a wildlife adventure, a game in which you're a little Spanish girl on vacation. But when business strikes, it's up to Alba to save nature. And it's up to you to decide whether or not Happy Bear will be saving those animals or skipping past them, because there's one point in her any percent run where she is going to have to walk past a couple of birds to help a poisoned cat. In the speed run, things, you gotta go fast. But if you want to help those birds, it'll only take a few seconds. Make sure when you donate to save those animals. Or, we're on vacation, save the frames. We don't have time to be saving animals. That's up to you. I promise no judgment, chat. But when you make your donation, you gotta select that to make sure that your vote counts. And of course, we met our Kirby's Dream Land incentive. That doesn't mean we don't have more. Indiana Jones is coming up shortly after, well, actually right before Alba, a Wildlife Adventure, which I just talked about. Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis is a point-and-click adventure featuring, of course, that archaeologist, Indiana Jones. NBZ will be playing through the Fist Path with no saves. And, for a point-and-click adventure, that means you gotta remember every little trigger. But the best parts of point-and-click adventures are, of course, the story, the context. Why are we going around punching bad guys? Well, if we meet our $100 incentive, NBZ will play through the intro sequence, which we normally skip in a speed run. And we get to see Indy Jones fall literally into adventure. So, and the best part about Tiltify is when you make a donation, you can select both a target and a poll option. So you can put your money towards influencing the event in multiple ways. And again, all your donations go to the excellent cause that is CARE, which we just had a fantastic conversation about. And so, chat. I would actually just like to ask you real quick. I'd love to hear some of what you're excited for today. Because again, this is the Lady Arcaders Super Showcase, an all-women charity talent showcase event running from July 6th, that was yesterday, until the 9th, that's this Sunday, so all weekend, benefiting CARE. And we're so excited to show off a lot of women showing off the games that they love. And of course, raising funds for charity while we're at it. That's !donate in chat to get that handy donation link. But we've just started on day 2 of our event. We've got a lot of blocks today. We've got a nostalgia block coming up because, oh my goodness, Pokemon Blue and Kirby's Dream Land, both of those Game Boy games, those are staples of my childhood. But we've also got a spelunking block. We're going through some caves later on today, and horror. Oh my goodness. I hope you're ready to get cozied up with a blanket and hide from some scary monsters later on tonight. But go ahead, !schedule in chat will also get you that handy link to our schedule. And I'd love to hear some of the things that you are excited to be watching later today. And of course, again, we are raising funds for CARE. If you happen to just miss it, we had a fantastic interview with Christina O'Brien of CARE. And she told us all about well, not all about, because there's so much that they do. Oh my goodness. It was just a pleasure speaking with Christina, and of course, stay tuned because we're gonna have more fun times with Christina, but this time with actual games. But learning about CARE and what they do. But in case you missed it, let me tell you a little about CARE in their own words. CARE works around the globe to save lives, defeat poverty, and achieve social justice. We seek a world of hope, inclusion, and social justice where poverty has been overcome and all people live with dignity and security. Founded in 1945, today CARE works in 110 countries, focusing on girls and women in their efforts because they are disproportionately affected by poverty and are the key to fighting it. And folks, you can be part of the key by making a handy donation today. And of course, only if you are able to. If you can't, we appreciate you being here, supporting the stream, helping spread the word. And we appreciate you so much for joining us in our efforts to support, care, and fight poverty. All right, I'm getting to see a couple of answers in chat. I see Alba. Yes, we're going to save some animals, hopefully. And then people are excited for Pokemon, Kirby, Sonic, Cult of the Lamb. Yes, that is a great favorite, a cult classic, if I can say. And yes, we do have some Stardew coming up later this event. And folks, welcome back. Thank you so much for your patience while we were getting things set up. As promised, we have a fantastic showcase of Hades here, and our performer is none other than the person who joined me on the interview earlier, Christina O'Brien, or as her gamer handle is, you can see it right under her, BewitchedRaven.
Yeah, gamer handle, cosplay handle, pretty much everywhere handle.
I know the mood, except for work, of course.
Except for work.
But today we're doing a casual playthrough of Hades, you were saying.
Yeah, so I picked this game because the sequel's coming out soon, and I've beaten the game before, so I started fresh last night and kind of had to reacclimate myself to the game controls. So I've only done a very, very little bit, and I haven't even beaten Meg yet in this run. So I'm real excited to get to kind of. I love this game, so.
Can I ask, we were talking a little during setup, you are a big fan of mythology. Who is your favorite character in the game?
Oh, in the game. Oh, you're killing me.
Know.
It's so hard.
It's such a rough question. I've heard a lot of favorites.
So it depends. So, we've said it a couple times. I'm a cosplayer, and last year for Dragon Con, I was part of a group where we cosplayed characters from the game, and I was Dionysus. I really enjoyed his character design in this game, so I got to make like that whole wig and that whole costume, but. Character wise, I think it would have to be Nyx. I really enjoy Nyx. I like her arc as a character. So and then of course I think my absolute favorite is right here. I get to pet the doggy.
Yes, we love pets.
Any game that lets me pet the dog, I'm just like anything I get to do where I could just like love on the baby and love on the doggy. I'm like, yeah.
The underworld prince's casual inquiry serves but to frustrate the infernal hound, as none of his three heads possess the gift and curse of speech.
It really is a curse.
Yes.
Tell me something, Father, if you please.
But yeah, you can see I restarted my game because my little my booklet keeps updating. So right where I ended it last night is right when Zagreus learned who his real mother is. So.
Ooh, yes, that dramatic moment.
Be thankful that you have no blasted kin.
I don't know, Dad. Do I have any sisters coming out in Hades too?
Sure, that's fair enough. It's just.
I mean, Dad also says your mom is next. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and right, wink, wink.
Also, apologies for any spoilers to anyone in chat.
Yeah, sorry.
But Hades is a fantastic game. Please play it yourself as well.
It's been out for a long enough time now. I feel like we're not gonna spoil too much. Heartwarming, and I haven't done any of the decorating yet. No, that's a lie. I did do one thing. I bought one item yesterday. But I'm excited. The second game, so it's obviously Zagreus' sister, but it's got like this whole new cast of like gods, and they've only announced a couple different ones. So Hecate is her, like, kind of the way Nyx is the guiding like voice for Zagreus in this game. Hecate is his sister's kind of trainer and guiding voice. And the whole plot has been that based in the Greek myth of where Kronos has captured Hades, and so you have to save Hades from Kronos, who is his father. And so it's like that, like, next level, like, whereas this is all I just want to get out of here and stick it to my dad. So I'm really excited to see where they're going to go with that. Oh, I love that you get to see their cause of a death. Impalement. Haven't gotten to catch any fish yet. I'm hoping that'll happen soon.
So we talked a little about this. I actually haven't managed to escape hell myself yet. Elysium's just a little too hard for me, and and you mentioned you were a story gamer, and so you play in God mode, which allows you to focus on the story. That's like a great accessibility thing that Hades has that just for some reason hasn't occurred to me to turn on yet. I don't know why.
Well, and I love that you said it as like accessibility, because that's what I look at it like. Like I played, for a while outside of God mode. I was playing right, and I was just getting frustrated. I was just getting so frustrated because I wanted to know what happened next, but I couldn't get past certain parts. And what I really like, for those who don't know, so what God mode does, let me see if I can like pull it up, because I think it's a really cool option, is every time you die, it essentially makes you a little bit tougher. So it doesn't immediately jump you to like, I think it goes up to like 80%, damage, resistance. It does it in like 5% increments every time you die until you get to where you work. And as an accessibility feature, like, that's amazing.
Yeah, and it doesn't remove the challenge. You still die in the game. It doesn't make you invulnerable.
Yeah. It's not just like, oh, I did up, down, left, right, A, B, and I can't die. You still get that part of the game that is you're meant to die in this game. Like, that's how the game proceeds. But there's a difference between I'm meant to die. There they are. There are the gloves. I want the gloves. Oh, how many keys do I have? I only have one. Okay, I got to do a run. Let's do it. Right now I was using the trident. I'm going to put it to the chat. What do we want? Do we want the sword, the trident, the shield, or the bow? I like them all. I don't have access to the gun yet because I just restarted this. I was doing runs though with all of the weapons last night that I did have access to, just to kind of refamiliarize myself.
And while we're getting those answers in chat, let me just ask you real quick, what's your favorite weapon?
Oh, it's the gauntlets. I love the gauntlets. They are so much fun. I love being able to just like do. And then but the shield I think is my second. So I saw the first one I saw come up in the chat was the shield. So I think I'm going to take it this time. I also remap my buttons in this game because I am very much so mainly an Xbox or a Switch gamer.
Looks like we had a bit of tech issue. So I'm just going to ask real quick. We're taking shield because that was the first thing that came up in chat. But for anyone who missed that answer, what is your favorite weapon in the game?
Oh yeah, it's
And we're back. Thank you so much for sitting with us while we were working through some tech issues, chat.
Yeah.
So, just to
I don't PC game, so I'm doing the capture card thing, and sometimes that doesn't want to behave. So
we
great tech
appreciate you
team
working
though.
with us. And yes, can we get some shouts for tech team in chat? Just to do a quick recap while we're doing this. So Raven here picked up her first spoon from Hermes.
Yeah, I did. I went for some extra speed because foot speed, always a good option. I hate those little guys that shoot out the bombs because they blend into the atmosphere. So like, I have a hard time like being like, oh, there they are, fight them.
Are they a pot that doesn't have gold, or are they just a pot that has bombs, or are they just a pot?
Yeah, right? Or are they just a pot? Going for that dataless hammer, always.
And so that I actually want to ask, as if you recall, because you just restarted the game yourself for us. What is your favorite kind of boon to get? Is it the Devil's Hammer? Is it?
So I have favorite boons depending on which action it's for. So I love getting Zeus's lightning with my special, especially when it's connected to the shield, because then it's just gonna go and hit everybody with like one hit. And I love that. Hang on, let me see real quick. Your special deals 50 damage. Ooh, I like that. The dataless hammer is great. Yay! So this will be my first time getting to go into this room on this run.
Nice.
I also really enjoyed, who was it? I like my cast with Dionysus. I like the Festive Fog cast because again, it gives me that like distance ability that I can spread out and kind of do more damage in the room at once. I love Sisyphus in this game so much. He's so sweet. Very contradictory to the actual lore of Sisyphus. But
the
actual
really lore of Sisyphus, for anyone who doesn't know, is having to roll that boulder up continuously. I actually refer to my backlog as a Sisyphean task.
Oh, right. Well, and it's interesting. So, like in his mythology, the reason he got it was because I can't remember if he trapped death so that he would avoid death. And so like the god of death, who we get to meet in this game, was trapped so that he could live. And which one do I want? I got to make a decision. See, I can't talk and make decisions at the same time. And when he finally was caught, this was his punishment, that they told him that he could live again if he could get the boulder to the top of the hill. So his eternity of pushing the boulder up the hill, because he never can. Why can't I talk to you yet? Boldy, you let me talk to you. I know I can.
Boldy, please.
So I really like, though, in this game, like, it's, if you think about it from like where he was when he was alive, it's like humbled him, and I love that. No, get away from me.
Chad is agreeing with that interpretation. That
and then I love that they gave Boldy a face. It's so cute. You can like give nectar to Boldy, and it's so cute. I am so gonna die. Yeah. Ooh, do I want to gift you?
I asked you what your favorite boon was because I mentioned when I learned this is the game that you were playing for us, I started up my own game again. And I love Athena, the Flex. The Flex is just wonderful for me as someone who tends to tank.
Yeah, and it, for me, it depends on the weapon. So like when I have my gauntlet, I'm not gonna pick the same boons as when I'm doing the shield, and I don't know if you can tell from my gameplay, I favor my special attack hardcore. So anytime this comes up with me, I'm like, oh, should I pick the special? But True Shot is really good. And then you always have to break the pots. That's how you get your gold.
So I eventually figured out, or either that, or I was helped by some very kind people. I don't remember which anymore. That only the shiny ones have gold in them.
Yeah, but
It's just fun to smash around Dad's property.
I'm such a weird completionist in that way, where I'm just like, nope, I didn't break that one. I gotta break it. I gotta break it. I think it's that ADHD hyperfixation in me that's just like, oh, gotta break it.
It doesn't feel right unless everything's broken.
It doesn't feel right. Oh. Come on, give me Zeus. You know you want to give me Zeus. I pulled out the shield. You know you wanna. Come on, go seek that out. There you go.
That's true. Everyone has their own specific loadouts for this game, and like certain boons just work so much better with certain weapons.
And I'm so intrigued with how the changes they're going to make in the new game. I'm so excited to see what they're I feel like it's going to be bigger. I know they've announced some of the new characters, so I know that obviously I'm going to mispronounce her name. It's like Malone, but she's Zagreus' sister, and then she's been trained by Hecate. But then, I'm trying to remember now off the top of my head, because I've been looking at them for possible cosplays. You get to meet, like,
designs in this game is so wonderful.
They're so wonderful. And then the other part of the reason I picked this game is that it's a very heavily female developed influenced game. So the development team was very, very gender equal, and I was really excited about that, because for this stream in particular, I wanted to make sure that I was highlighting women in gaming. So I
actually didn't realize that the dev team had a lot of women on it, or it was heavily woman influenced. That's amazing.
And I really like, I understand the choice of not going with the female lead at first because of the realities of society that we live in right now. But I love that they are immediately switching that for game 2. So it was like draw them in with what you know works, and now get them hooked. And yes. And now let's make it a woman. And I'm like, yeah, switcheroo.
But even in this game, they have so many strong women characters.
Yeah.
And even the ones that fall into what you would consider I hate to say it like this, the typical woman stereotype. Dusa, for example, she's got strength and in her own way, and she's like a great support to people like Meg.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And there's the archetypes for every archetype is in here. There's that like strong like fighter woman in Meg. There's, I love that. I don't feel like they like crazy over sexualize Aphrodite. And, obviously she's got a sexual nature to her because of what she's the goddess of, but it's not like this blinding, like, only, yes, Zeus. It's not her defining factor, especially if you play through and you really listen to her story. So if you've not played this game before, I'm going to adjust in my chair because I'm sliding around. Really listen to the dialogue of the gods, because they tell long-term stories. And she talks a lot about her relationship with Ares and her relationship with the maker god. I am just blanking on his name now. With one leg. And
Hephaestus?
Yes, Hephaestus. And the turmoil of like her romantic, endeavors with them, and it's really interesting, because you'll hear one little dialogue box, and then you'll play and you'll die a few more times, and you'll do another run, and then suddenly there she is mentioning it again. And like, you have to really pay attention to see those really long-term arcs.
Yeah, it's a gradual process, but
yeah.
it doesn't it doesn't like frustrate you because you unlock something every time you go through it.
Yeah. And I will say this is also a very LGBTQIA plus game. It's very friendly. You can like seek out relationships. It's a little bit of a dating sim. And they can be you can male, female, even monster, and like it's just really Thunder Flourish. That's what I want. So it's
you did say you are a special focus kind of player.
I am. And oh good. I need that because I'm about to go meet Meg again. I'm not gonna beat her, but I am gonna try.
Got to say, you are a sight for sore eyes there, Charon. So, looks like is that it? Is that it?
I like later in the game you can fight Charon, he has like gold behind him, and if you go and you try to take it, like he takes you to like fight him. And
why would you take his gold? He already gives you so much of it and takes it back when you die, but
yeah, I mean he takes it back when you die. Okay, let me see, how much do I have? I'm not gonna be able to get both, but that's okay. I need this. Because I'm not gonna survive this. It's okay. But oh, Meg.
Lord Hades ought to lock you up rather than let you run amok in his domain like this.
I love that they did the Furies and they did them right. Oh.
Or maybe you're just pining for my
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I met Tisiphone, I think that's the name of the third one.
Yeah.
She's a little off-putting, and then you really grow to like the fact that she's just a Pokemon whose species is murder.
Right? And that's the other like really interesting thing about the Furies is, and the people just look at them and they're the Furies, but they each have different representations of Fury. So Tisiphone is murder, and I think again, names, I'm just the worst at remembering names. Is rage, and somebody look that up and put it. Yeah, somebody put that in chat. What they each represent 3 different parts of.
I'm gonna be honest. I only remember that Electo was rage because she was not nice to me when I was playing.
No, she was not. And oh, where'd you go? Oh, she's hiding. Of course you are. Come on.
All right, well, while we're going through this process, I'm cheering for Raven to beat Meg.
You can tell when I get serious, I get quiet, and suddenly I'm like, oh, I gotta focus.
Oh, if you need focus time, that's fine. Just a reminder here, folks, we are raising funds for CARE. Raven here has actually joined us from CARE. And CARE is a leading humanitarian organization fighting global poverty. They were founded in 1945. And so they have more than 7 decades of experience delivering emergency aid during times of crisis, working in over 110 countries. Their emergency responses focus on the needs of the most vulnerable populations, especially girls and women.
Yes.
You can learn more by visiting www.care.org. Also, congratulations!
I did it! I'm so shocked. That's the 3rd time I've met her, and like, yes, I have God mode on, but like, I'm pretty.
No, that was touch and go. I saw that health bar go down.
I was like, I know I've got Death to Fire. I know I've got it. Let's see if it'll help.
Also, someone in chat has kindly mentioned Electo's meaning is unceasing, Tisiphone is avenging murder, and Megara is grudging.
That's right.
So there's your meanings for you.
So, like, I mean, that's so attentive in their character designs, though. Like everything that Meg says to you is very, like, ugh, like that grudge attitude. Like, obviously, Tisiphone is, like, you know, murder. That's all she says. And then, yeah, I mean, like,
it becomes really endearing after, like, the first time you die, honestly.
Yeah, it does. Let me see what I got. Do I have anything I want to sell? Not for, let's see what I got here. I'm gonna do you. I'm gonna do you. I'm gonna do you.
While you're deciding, I'm going to finish up my thought just there because I really need to say congrats on beating Meg. Again, we are raising funds for CARE, and you can type an / donate in chat to get that handy link. There's also a QR code on the screen right to the left underneath our estimate time, and that will also get you straight to our donate page. And all the donations you make are going straight to CARE, and they're going to help out a lot of good work they do in raising up women around the world and fighting poverty.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's what we're all here for. So I highly encourage you, you know, even if it's just a couple of dollars, every single donation is valuable. It helps. And it goes directly to the work we're doing. And so donate.
If it's within your means, of course.
If it's within your means, of course. This is another really cool feature. It took me way too long originally to know.
You would do this.
If you go, each land has like a point that you can go to, and it'll like zoom out and show you the world. And I was like, oh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to screenshot one of these and make it my Xbox background.
So lovely. I didn't realize they had that. Just here's the hellscape you'll be dying in. But
yeah,
appreciate the view.
Well, and appreciate the art because, like, oh, it's beautiful. I mean, for this basically being, you know, a dungeon runner, it's so pretty. It's just so pretty.
You mentioned that this was ADHD friendly, and is part of that like just the constant new things and also very shiny things. Honestly, this is one of my favorite things about watching people play Hades. Just all the effects and the action.
And that's for me at least. That's exactly right. Like it. Each world, each like level of hell is so different on like in its look and its feel, but like the core of the game is very repetitive. So I can have like my like routine of like I know what I'm doing and my buttons that I'm gonna hit, and it's not gonna overcomplicate me to where I'm so focused that I'm not actually enjoying the gameplay, but I'm getting all the like variations in the designs and the character work, and I need a key so that I can unlock those gauntlets. So I'm gonna go for the key. So it does that really nicely, and you know, personally, I'm incredibly passionate about neurodiversity, and so this game like hits all of those really great key elements for me, and I highly recommend it for anyone who is neurodiverse. Like, I think it's such a good game for that. Get out of here.
In this world, I also have a lot of trouble forgetting that you shouldn't run on fire.
Yeah, and especially when it pops up on the land parts.
Oh yes, especially.
Come on, fall down. Yeah, when it shows up,
fall down, please, so I can hurt you.
When it shows up on those spots, like I can remember, like, oh, there's big lava. Don't run in that. But then they just show up on the land, and I'm so focused on like, who am I gonna attack that I'm like, I shouldn't step there. I don't have enough gold yet. I'm gonna go over here. I you know, getting to like restart this game, I've forgotten how much I love it. To a point, I'm just like, oh, this game is so pretty. Don't land in the lava.
But really, I think that is the great thing about games that you love, that you can revisit them, and even if you know what happens, even if you're a story-focused kind of person, which I'm a casual player, I also cannot do the skills and the speed strats, but I love just exploring video game worlds, and I love like immersive escapism, which gaming really is. And so you can just escape into a world. And even better if you already have a fondness. It's just like returning to a place you've loved.
I will say, so when we were in lockdown for the pandemic, I was really, for some weird reason, I was really resistant to playing Animal Crossing. When it first came out, I was like, no, I'm not gonna get into this, and definitely got addicted during lockdown, 100%. But I was like, it made me just like happy. Like I was like, I get to help people and like make really cute things, and then like build like weird secret rooms in my home that were like those weird spaces that it was like this like lovely designed home, and then go to the basement and it's just like this weird room I've made, just all this weird stuff, and I'm like, I got so hooked during the pandemic. I almost picked Animal Crossing for this, but then I was like, no, we gotta have something with a little bit more action in it, a little bit more oomph.
Well, I do just want to point out, for anyone who is interested in seeing Animal Crossing in the event, we actually do have an Animal Crossing run. It is not today, unfortunately. It will be at the end of day 3, Saturday. But Critique Court will be designing a vacation home as part of the New Horizons DLC.
Which, if you haven't played the DLC, it's so much fun, and I will definitely be tuning into that. I saw it was on the list, and I was so excited.
Oh, we're looking forward to having you in chat for that.
Yeah.
But also, thank you so much for bringing Hades back into our lives, because like I said, I started, I didn't finish, but I picked it up again just to like get a refresher and like know what I was talking about, and it's such an easy game to fall back into.
Oh, it's so easy, and I highly go back, turn on God mode, give it another go, and because once you, spoiler alert, so plug your ears if you don't want to hear this part, once you eventually get to meet Persephone, it like opens up this whole different like storyline with things with Demeter and her attitude towards you. And it's once you get past that final fight with Hades, there's still so much more.
I hadn't considered how Grandma would react to it.
Yeah, exactly. And there is a whole like yeah, the run is the same, but again, it's that like hidden dialogue that comes into play. I know I should go for the heart. I know I should. The smart part of my brain wants to, but I'm not gonna.
When I see those, I'm terrified because I hate having the gods fight over me.
I know, but it's so fun to see them fight. It's mostly because it's Artemis, and I want to make her fight her daddy.
I have to pick a side.
I shall remember this, nephew.
Ooh, okay, so which one? I think I'm gonna go for this.
Oh, good.
And now you've slighted the goddess of the hunt.
I'm sorry. It's also, though, you gotta know, like, what her thing is gonna be. And, like, yeah, I'm not gonna survive this. I've already used my Death Defy. It's not gonna happen, but these guys are just, they're to me, they're the toughest, because they throw these bombs, and if you can't get one out ahead of time, like, there it is.
And then they keep jumping around.
And so it's like, and I wish their bombs would hurt them. So there's the God mode, you see. I died, so it upped my damage resistance just a little bit. So now, sorry about that. My OBS wanted to have a momentary disconnect.
When you do these events, Marathon Luck attacks in all kinds of ways. Sometimes it attacks in the ways where you get Meg first try on stream, and sometimes it attacks in the tech issue kind of way.
Yeah.
But yes,
But-
thank you so much, Tech Team, for getting that. And let's go ahead and get in another run. Hi, Dad.
Yeah, hi, Daddy. I was playing this last night, and the first time Hades came up, I did that. I was like, "Oh, hello, Daddy," and my partner came in and was like, "Did you call me?" And I was like, "No." It was just very funny. Let's see, I click too fast sometimes. Meg is in here! Yay! I love when we get to talk to her.
Turns. Everyone's saying I went easy on you, Zach.
Everyone,
Don't worry, Meg.
you.
The painful way after all.
Look, I have a reputation to uphold. You get past me again like that, you best go.
So we were talking about how the voicing in here
Yeah.
is fantastic, and I remember seeing something I probably actually during like the height of lockdown, where the voice actor for Meg was talking about how she gets that low,
Gems.
rumbly kind of tone. I'm trying my best to imitate it. It's
I
really
find
hard,
her
but
voice
it's fantastic.
so soothing. Like I would just you can tell every time she speaks, I stop talking because I love this voice actor. I love who they got. It is that like sweet spot, like brain tickled tone of voice that is just ideal.
It is the kind of thing you kind of want to pause and just, how does she do it?
Miss Dusa?
Oh, I love little Dusa. I hate that like she's in the corner. But I'm gonna give her a nectar.
I'm really grateful for this, really. I thought I kind of got something for you.
The Dusa character in the new game is like a cute little shade. And so so rather than being Dusa, like she's like the cute little like chibi kind of character. She looks so cute in her art, and I can't wait to see what her character is like.
I actually have not seen anything except the trailer, the one with Hecate and the name that we struggle to pronounce.
That one, yeah, no, I mean it's a Greek name, so every time you hear somebody say it, they're gonna say it differently anyway.
We love that for us.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah. Okay, I've got
But
5
we
keys.
are going to have that ingrained in our brains, just like we have Zagreus ingrained in our
Yeah,
brains.
the second the game comes out and they start saying it, I'm gonna be just down. So yeah, so I was saying those like spots that you can stand in. This is where it is for down here,
Oh.
and it shows you, and you can get that like beautiful like widescreen artwork like view. And I love it.
It tells you the farthest chamber you've reached, so you know how many are in there.
It's such a cool little feature, and I stumbled upon it once. And so I've been wearing the spiked collar. I'm trying to get it up to 3 stars. I think I got to do 21 more encounters. But I've given nectar to Charon. Of course, the first person I gave nectar to was Cerberus, the dog, had to. And now Dusa. So every time you give someone nectar, their keepsake will show up for you as well. And then you can level up their keepsakes, and they help you as you go through the game. But we're going to get Cerby to a good 3 stars. Let's see. I'm gonna do the sword for this one.
Blade of the underworld, I need your strength.
Boom.
So one of the things they have in the game as like part of the process of unlocking, it doesn't really show, presumably because you've beaten the game once before, is there is a list of fated things in your
That's
room.
not the worst advice, I guess.
Yeah.
And that sort of encourages you to explore and try new builds, new things, new boons.
Yeah, it's really cool. And that stuff that you don't realize. So I'll go show it real quick. So there's a part of the game where you can buy with the gems like different enhancements from these guys, your little contractors. You can renovate the underworld. And a lot of them are just cosmetic, but some of them are actionable. And so like the fountain chambers they'll show you here like what happens with each of them that are actionables and which ones these are just cosmetic. But the one I did first with my very few amounts of gems was the viewing pool. So it shows me how many attempts I've made. So I've done 8, and how many people I've killed. So it's you're like looking back at your past and seeing events that have transfolded. I'm making words up now. But I liked that one because I like that some of the items they give you like extra little things that if you don't like pay attention, you're not gonna realize. So
Yeah, and what I wanted to ask was like, do you let that sort of guide what you pick in a playthrough, or is it just, you know what, I like this, I like more damage. Let's go.
The first time I play through, I'm getting a call. So I'll be able to call Poseidon now to help me out during a fight. The first time I play through, I tend to just be like, oh, this is pretty, and I really I want the pretty stuff. Because I'm like learning the game, and it's hard to like start with strategy when you don't know the game. Since this is my second playthrough of it, now I have a lot more like, okay, I know that these are the boons I like with these certain weapons, and I know that I know that these are the gods I tend to favor, and I know what these items do, and so it's giving me a little bit of an opportunity to kind of build a bit more strategically in a way I couldn't with the first run through. So it's a little bit of both, just depending on which playthrough I'm at.
Yeah, you know what, that's fair. That I think is part of the great thing about Hades, and I'm watching you use the cast and realizing that I always forget that exists.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell I have to remap my buttons for this game. I'll tell you, its standard mapping is not intuitive to me at all. Like, it's not where I think things should be. It's not like what my instinct wants to select. So, for those who don't know, in this game, you can remap your buttons to be what you want them to be. And so I think out of the box, your cast is like your trigger. And I would never use it either because I didn't realize, I just kept forgetting to use it. And so I moved it, and I moved all my actionable buttons to be my main A, B, X, Y. And that changed how I played as well when I figured out I could do that. So
yeah, I think that goes back into, again, this game is great on accessibility.
Yeah, it's so accessibility options. OBS just disconnected on me again. It's gonna reconnect. There it is. It just reconnected, but it definitely just disconnected on me again. It notifies me when it does it. So
it does look like the stream is still going.
Okay, good.
And since you did ask for a bit of a warning time, I think this is the last run we will be able to do for the stream.
Yeah.
But just wanted to give you that heads up.
No, that's perfect because if it doesn't behave, as long as I get me those sweet keys. If OBS doesn't want to behave, I'm thankful that everyone in chat is being very patient with it. The summer months with power and connectivity just don't mix.
They really are harder to
I was saying during one of our tech stops that we've been having a lot of just rolling brownouts here where I live, and so I'm assuming that that's happening with my internet as well. So, and then
to your internet provider, if you could just hold out long enough for Christina to get like a satisfying win against, I think with Meg and the house now you get more of the Furies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think I do. Oh my
So just a
goodness.
satisfying win against a Fury again. We'd love it here.
Let's go see what Charon can sell us, even though I think I just spent all my money. Oh no, not all my money. I like getting the grab bag of unknown. Yup.
Violence. Charon, mate. Now, hypothetically, if I provided you with, say, 1,000 coins, would you be willing to give me
My favorite thing about Karen is he does not ever actually respond in anything but yes.
I love it. So yeah, when you can fight Charon, it's this screen, like gold packets will show up back here and you can go and grab them and it'll be like, and you have to go fight him for him. It's so funny.
It's so bad for him already.
Well, it's super cute because it's like Zagreus is like, oh, I thought you left those there for me. It's just like, no, buddy, he did not. Like, that's his gold. But it only comes up every couple of times. I think you have to get through a certain number of runs before it shows, you know, there's all that insight into the game that you can always like look it up and it'll tell you what parameters you have to hit.
I'm kind of biased against her just for that alone.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, she's got a charm boon that I like, but other than that, I don't love her boons. Like, oh yes, Dionysus. Like, she's just a little bit boring in the boon world, in my opinion.
I think that's fair. I'm also someone though who say when playing Pokemon doesn't go for like the status effects. It's all attack. yeah,
absolutely. I got back into Pokemon Go, and I was like, oh yeah, I have to look at all these like different like what type is fighting what type. I just can't bring in, you know, who's my strongest Pokemon every time.
It's not the fire, water, grass, rock, paper, scissors. Now they have so many.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, if it's outside of those like basic ones, I could not sit here and tell you what type is good against. There it is, Trippy Shot. I love it. I can't tell you which Pokemon type is good against. Like Bug, I'm like, I don't know. What is good against bugs? Bug spray? Is that a good thing? Can I just there's some Trippy Shot. Look at that. I love it. Well, now I want it back though.
It really just gets them a little inebriated.
Yeah, just a little bit, you know. And I like it because when they spot you and they come into it, like, because they're going to. Mm-hmm. It's gives you that kind of like space of I'm dealing with this right here, but I know that's about to see me and move into my space, and I can adjust accordingly. And yeah, I really like it in Elysium. I think it's really effective in the lands of Elysium because of the way they're laid out.
They because of where the traps and stuff are.
Yeah, it's a lot more open. So like this is tricky because there's so many like differences, and you'll see if you throw it, it'll bounce off different pieces of like architecture, and so it's a little harder to aim in this world. And but when you get up to Elysium, it's a lot more open land because it's that type of environment. So you have a lot more control over your aiming it and utilizing it. It's also really helpful in Tartarus on the boat when you're doing the boat runs, and they are, because it's just such a small space.
Yes, and of course there are like the 3 bombs, and they all spawn.
Right.
There's no escape.
Oh yeah, there's no escaping those. Come on, give it back. There we go. Oh Lord, there's so many.
And like we haven't seen those in this run so far, but sometimes there are chests. Well, actually, there's one in the corner right there.
Yeah, I think
There are,
this is
like,
the
little
first
chests
one. Yeah.
that like you can that spawn, and like you can shop there. Or other times they have like a little trial that you have to do to like gain back some gold, some health, or gain gold.
Yeah, it's like you're like taking it from Dad, and so he'll come in and be like, "Oh, you're gonna take that from me," and he'll give you that like little like quick trial that you just have to survive, long enough.
And so I have done the thing where I start one of those, and you can get like a max of like say 100 health, right? But it's time. Like the more you the longer you take, the less health you get. And
Yeah,
so I've done it where like, oh, I had like 30 health left, and I wanted to get 100. Let's go. And it took me so long that I only got 10 back.
yeah, and
Those
well,
are
and that's
frustrating.
where someone's talking about it in chat. God mode comes so handy. Like this is a hard game. It's meant to be hard because you have to like as you gain the little purple gemstones, you open up different enhancements of your character. So like your first few runs are meant to be terrible. But if it stays hard, turn on God mode. There's no shame. I'm running with God mode right now. Because I want to, like we said, like I want to know the story. I want to hear, I want to see the characters. I want to hear the art. The fighting is just the bits between that for me. So if
Play the game
you're,
however makes it
yeah,
fun for you.
yeah, if you're like, oh, I've tried Hades, it's too hard, go back, turn on in your settings God mode, give it a shot. That way, every time that you die, you gain resistance to damage, and so it's gonna just help you out. Why wanna talk to you? I'm gonna give you a nectar. How about that?
I thought this might ease your burden for a while.
Maybe that'll let me talk to Boldy. So I can definitely, I mean, that was the only way I could beat the game was with God mode. I couldn't beat it without it. So I'm not gaming to torture myself. I'm gaming for my own enjoyment.
Yes, and games are meant to be enjoyed however you choose to go about it.
Right. So, no shame there. We highly encourage accessibility, and I highly encourage if you haven't finished the game, go turn that on, finish the game before the sequel comes out, because you want to make sure that you get to like meet Persephone and see all of those additional details before the new game, so that you can see where because I know that these developers have taken the time and tied all of this together. Like they have. It's so attention to detail that I'd be surprised if they didn't.
I'm going to say that was a message directly aimed at me because I need to finish it. But I am like looking forward to it. Like just watching you play, I'm thinking, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, and actually, Christine, I am going to say as you jump into this next room. That we are hitting time on this
Yeah,
showcase.
no, we are.
Right
This is
before
a
the
good.
boss with the
It's
Fury,
okay,
but this was a great stopping
I would.
point.
This is a good stopping point. It's not a. It's not a. It's not a running room, so it's a good point. Thank you guys so much for having me. This has been so much fun. I've had. I love that this has been my work day today. When you get
Absolutely,
back.
I might be yelling. Persephone did what?
And she's got some beautiful artwork to her as well, so you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
I am absolutely excited for that. Of course, you came. You're on here. originally representing CARE, but also we would love to help self-promote your cosplay endeavors. If people wanted to find you, maybe follow you on social media, is that something you're okay with sharing with us?
I
If
would
not,
love
let's just shout out
to.
here.
No,
All right,
I
let's go for that.
absolutely. I am on every social media out there as Bewitched Raven, one word, including the new Threads, which has just rolled out. I posted on that this morning. I was sticking it to Elon Musk, and I was very happy. But I also am on Twitch, twitch.tv/BewitchedRaven. I had recently moved, so I haven't streamed in a while, but I'm going to pick it up again and start streaming some more and I do some streams around cosplay and sewing and crafting as well, so not just gaming. So go give me a follow if you want. We just have a good time.
I mean, that sounds fantastic. I mean, I had a fantastic time with you here today. Thank you again so much for coming on our
thank you
stream
so much.
and for sharing Hades and talking about CARE with us.
No, thank you so much for having me, and thank you to everyone who's donating. This is the impact you're having in people's lives is so incredible by just even a couple bucks here and there, and I cannot reiterate that enough. So thank you guys for sharing, donating, chatting. Anything you can do is just a great help.
Absolutely. And once again, if you're just joining us, if you'd like to make a donation to CARE, you can type !donate in chat or scan the QR code right there under Christina's camera. But we have a fantastic day of runs ahead, lots of incentives.